Morning all. Alright, so Thursday night, we got 7 games tonight in the NHL. One thing I will say with the rescheduled games, this is actually kind of nice. You get 6 or 7 games a night. That's, to me anyways, is kind of a perfect number. So we've got 4 games starting at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, 1 an hour later, and then the last 2 start an hour after that. So the reviews should be up relatively early tonight compared to most. And yeah, hockey will be done by, let's see, 9 o'clock, so it'll be 11:30 Eastern, about 8:30 Pacific. If you include possible shootouts, maybe around 9 o'clock. Not bad. So 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific start time between Columbus and Buffalo. Two teams not going into the playoffs this year. The Columbus Blue Jackets won this matchup November 22nd by a score of 7-4. Columbus is 21, 22, and 1 over their last 10. They're 5-5. They've won their last game. And it feels like when I do previews that almost always Columbus is 5-5 in their last 10. Away from home, they're 9-12. So that seems to be getting better. The Buffalo record, 14, 24, and 7 over their last 10. They're 4-5-1. They've lost their last 2 in regulation. And at home, they're 7, 12, and 3. The next meeting between these teams will be on February 20th. So that'll be the final meeting of the season between Columbus and the Buffalo Sabres. Also at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, Carolina and Boston. Carolina gets the no mercy sticker on this one. October 28th, Carolina beat Boston 3-0. And January 18th, they beat Boston 7-1. So we'll see how things go tonight, minus Marchand and Bergeron. We'll see. Carolina's 31, 10, and 3 over their last 10. They're 7, 2, and 1. They lost their last game in regulation against Ottawa. So they're done with Ottawa. Now they're against a lesser team in Boston. They've destroyed Boston twice and lost against Ottawa 2 out of 3 times. So 15, 6, and 2 is their road record. And we shall see how they do tonight in Boston, where the Bruins are 26, 15, and 3 over their last 10. They're 5, 4, and 1. They did lose their last game. And at home, they're 15, 9, and 1. So that should be and could be the game of the night. We'll see if if Boston comes up with something tonight that throws off Carolina. My guess is Carolina probably wins the game, and I might be using this again tonight. That could happen. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start time between Pittsburgh and Ottawa. November 13th, Ottawa wins this matchup 6-3. On this January 20th, Pittsburgh won 6-4. This is the third and final meeting. 28, 11, and 8 is the record for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Over their last 10, they are 6, 1, and 3. They did win their last game. They're 15, 5, and 3 away from home. For Ottawa, they're 16, 22, and 4. And they're playing, I think it's 40 games and 80 nights, something along those lines. Last 10 games, 5, 3, and 2. They did win their last 2. So we'll see if they make it 3 in a row tonight against Pittsburgh. At home, they're 9, 11, and 1. And if they've proven anything over the last, I'll say, month or so, it's do not take them lightly. If you take them for granted, you take the win for granted, you may not get it. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start time between Washington and Montreal. November 24th, Washington won this matchup 6-3. We shall see how they do tonight. For Washington, they're 25, 14, and 9. And seeing a game against Montreal, this might be perfect timing for them. Over their last 10, they're 4 and 6. They've lost 2 in a row in regulation. Away from home, they're 13, 5, and 4. So now we're seeing their road record starting to look somewhat better than their home record. And we'll see if that improves tonight against Montreal, who are 8, 30, and 7. They'll have Marty St. Louis behind the bench. I'm really surprised at Marty St. Louis being brought in that, not that I don't think he could make a really good coach, but you've got Luke Richardson right there. Anyways, over their last 10, Montreal won 6 and 3. They've lost 5 in a row in regulation. And at home, Montreal is 5, 14, and 1. The third and final meeting between these teams will occur on April 16th. So they're not quite done with one another yet after tonight. But for Montreal, they've got to start getting some wins. Something. Pride has to kick in somewhere around here. And so we'll see if that takes place tonight. Then at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, the New Jersey Devils in against St. Louis. This is their first meeting this year. New Jersey 16, 26, and 5. Over their last 10, they are 2 and 8. They won their last game, a destruction of Montreal that was so bad they even fired their coach. Away from home, 6, 15, and 2 is the record for New Jersey. For St. Louis, they are 26, 13-5 over their last 10. They're 7-3. They did lose their last game in regulation. And at home, they're 17-5-2. I'm half tempted. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna regret it later. The Akbar Magnets, the Trap Magnet, is going to be mad at me later. But basically, this feels like a game where New Jersey, maybe they surprise us and they pull off an upset, or at the very least they give St. Louis conniptions. Then at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, the final two games of the night start. The first one, Toronto in against Calgary. The first game between these two was November 12th in Toronto. The Leafs won that game 2-1 in overtime. We'll see how this goes tonight. For Toronto, they're 30-10-5. Over their last 10, they're 8-2. They've won 6 in a row. And away from home, they're 13-6-2. It's a really good test for Toronto tonight, in that Calgary's playing very, very well. This is after Toronto's last win, which was a pretty important one as well. And so it feels like Toronto's really getting themselves into that conversation for maybe finishing first overall once the season's done. Which, again, if that takes place, immediately we'll hear about the President's Trophy jinx and all that. But I'm pretty sure Toronto's never won it. I'm 99.9% sure Toronto hasn't been first in the league in a very, very long time. Calgary, and I'm talking predating the President's Trophy. Calgary 24-13-6 over their last 10. They're 7-3. They've won 4 in a row, including the last couple in pretty strong fashion. They don't leave much to doubt. And at home, they're now 8-4-4. So their mediocre home record, they have turned that around. They've taken their road record and brought it home. And so we'll see if they continue to do that against Toronto, who are a very strong road team. And then the final game of the night might be the game of the night. 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific start time between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Colorado Avalanche. On October 23rd in Tampa, this was a shootout win, 4-3 for Tampa. And that was during that really rough road trip for Colorado at the start of the season. 30-10-6 is the record for Tampa. Over their last 10, they're 7-2-1. They did win their last game. Away from home, they are 14-6-2. For Colorado, who I am wearing, I think they're ready to start winning again at home. They did lose for the first time in a long time, and that was against Arizona. So now they have Tampa. Sure, why not? So 32-8-4 is the record for Colorado overall. Over their last 10, they're 9-0-1. They did lose an extra time, again, against Arizona their last time out. And at home, 22-2. So that home record for Colorado, pretty strong. And so I'm thinking they probably win that one over Tampa Bay. But my guess is this will be game of the night of the later starts. Game of the night of the earlier starts might be Carolina and Boston. But again, to me, it looks like Carolina should win that one going away. But it looked like on paper they should have taken out Ottawa, which has not occurred 2 out of 3 times that they played them this year. So it is unpredictable, but nevertheless, give me your predictions in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. If you just happen upon this video. I do prefer the previews with these magnets over the other ones. It's just these were on a power rankings board I wasn't using. So rather than leaving them there, I thought I'll throw them on the preview instead. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts as always. I will talk to you guys again soon.